Okay, so this is the second tute on doing functions. A lot of new programmers are very resistant to functions, so I'm going to try and help you with a couple of reasons why you need to explore these ideas and start using them. You are already using them. Python has a whole bunch of built-in functions, and in fact the first thing you can see here is roomList.append, and that is a special function that's written by Python programmers to be able to add data to a list. And we can see here that we've got a sort of a room list, and we've created some rooms. There's a lounge, a kitchen, a bedroom, bathroom, and we've got their lengths and widths of those rooms in meters so that we can actually use that information. And the whole idea of this one is that we're taking that data, we're actually calculating the area, and then we're going to update the data structure. So if we actually run down here, if we run it, so you can see that the first room is the lounge. It has got a width of 5 and 4, and it actually prints out lounge dimensions, width 4, length 5. The area of this room is 20 square meters, so it calculates that for us, and then it updates the data structure so that now the lounge data structure says lounge, length, width, and area as well. Okay, so you can see how that might be something that you'd want to do, is to take your data structure and add information to it. And this is the code that does that. So this is the print room, and I've included, to improve the readability and understandability of this code, I've basically put some comments in. But you're going to see that if I actually do this properly, I won't need the comments. Now if I looked at that line of code there without that comment, it would take me a while to figure out what it's showing. I'd have to read through it, look at the example of it actually printing out. It takes a long time to figure that out. So let's start by going and defining a function to show the room dimensions. So I've done this before. I can basically say show def show room dimensions. Now because I'm it's probably a good idea to spell it properly. Dimensions. It doesn't really matter. So basically I've got that show room dimensions there. That tells me what it's going to do. Now most functions, the name should start with like a verb that describes what it's doing. It's showing, it's updating, it's printing, it's calculating, that sort of thing. And then the next words should actually define what it does, and it shouldn't matter that it's going to be too big. We finish that off with a colon, and everything in here is got what it's going to be. I'm going to take this line of code here and Control exit, so cut it and paste it in there. And now because it's got this room variable in it, I really should take that room variable and put it in here so that it knows that this is a local variable now for this function. So now if I actually start typing in show, it's going to say show room dimensions. I'm going to open it up. It's looking for a room, so I'm going to put in the word room, and it's going to pass this room here into this function so that it's the same room that we're looking at there, and that should still work. So if I hit run without debugging, yep, it works without any errors. I didn't get any errors there. See, so kitchen dimensions, width equals, that's exactly what it actually prints out there. That's that line there. So if I were to then get rid of this, we know that I'll leave that one in there because it's not obvious why I'm doing that print, but this one here, show room dimensions, is there, and all of a sudden my code in my main line looks a bit clearer, and I know that everything in here is now showing the room dimensions. The next thing I'm going to do is calculate area. So basically I'm going to create a function. I'm going to do these in an alphabetical order, and it's important to do this because it gets really complicated otherwise. So def calculate, that's my verb, area. So I'm just going to calculate area, and to calculate area I need a width and a length, L-E-N-G-T-H. And every time you set something equal to something, so area equals, what you then need to do is you need to return something. And in this case I'm going to return the area. Now I haven't calculated the area yet, so let's calculate the area now. Area is going to be equal to width times length. So I've typed this in rather than actually copying and pasting this up because there's a slight difference here. I need to then send the information as to which is the length and width into this area here. So I can just press space and go back. I can say calculate area. I'm opening the brackets, and the first thing I'm going to send is the room width. I'm going to replace that multiplication with a comma, and I'm going to send the room length. So you can see there that it's sending that there, and it will set area equal to that calculate area. So if I run, I haven't changed anything. I haven't changed the function of the code. So provided I've done it right, I won't get any errors, and it's still working fine. So I've now actually got that, so I can basically get rid of this. Area equals calculate area, and then I can see that that stuff's going in there. So that's pretty straightforward. I might want to move this up here, Control X, and put that printout inside here and replace this str area. Yep, that's right, that's actually going to work. So now if I run that, I've got an error. No, I've still got the same, still got the same code. So it's still working. The area of this room is 9 square meters. That's what I ended up with last time. So no changes, but now I've got my main line says print room, show dimensions. So I'm showing the dimensions of the room. I'm calculating the area of the room width and room length. So that's fairly straightforward. The final thing I want to do is update the data structure to take that. So I'm going to update the room's data. Update is the first word I'm going to use, so that comes after S. So I'm going to put this in alphabetical order. Def update room data, and I'm going to need two things to update the room data. I'm going to update the room data with the room details that already exist, plus the area. So I'm taking two variables in, and I'm basically going to say that this line here, Control X, is going to go here, like so. And because it's going to be room equals to, let's just take that back. So room equals to, I'm going to then return the room back down here, and then I can say room is equal to update, so update room data, and I'm going to put in the room, and I'm going to put in the area that I've already calculated. Right, so that should function without changes, so no changes there, no errors there. So I can probably get rid of this comment here, and you can see there that I've got that happening. It's basically updating the room as I needed to. So it's taking this data structure, calculating the area, and updating it with this data structure. Interesting thing I can do though is I can actually get rid of this line here, so I'll just comment this line out for the time being. I can take this, Control X, and whack it into here, Control V, and delete this, and then if I run it, it still does the same thing because that there is equal to the variable area. Don't like that though because it just looks a bit more messy. That's cleaner. Okay, so I can see that I'm calculating area, I'm updating the room with updating room data, and then I'm printing it out. You can see there that my code is now really clean. Your main line should be really empty of a lot of stuff and should only really be calling functions in reality. So now that I've got 3 functions, they're all in alphabetical order. It's a lot more easy for me to read and update that code, and I'm now sort of a bit more on top of how this software is going to work.